Welcome to Newstalgia, the show between shows. I'm Drew.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Basil.
Nailed it.
So, what have we all been watching, listening to, or reading?
I'll go first. Mine is much shorter than it normally is. I started House of Leaves, which is a book that it's a little bit, one could call it a gimmick in a way, but it is supposed to be like a horror book. It is so hard to explain, and people have said that like you can just never really make it a film because it's like a story within a story within a story. But because of some of that, it makes it a little bit difficult to read. So I did have to put it aside. Okay, let me explain it a little bit. There is a guy named Johnny Truant who finds this collection of papers in a trunk in an old man who had just died's house. And he starts kind of going through it and kind of compiling it. And the old man's name is Zampano. And what he was writing about was this film. And I can't remember what it was called. The Niederfield Record or something like that. That's not it. And Johnny Truant insists that the film doesn't exist. But there is an editor that has taken all of Johnny Truant's, like the manuscript that he was making of compiling all the things. And the editors say that it does exist. So it is a conceit as if we are reading this manuscript that Johnny Truant has been putting together about Zampano's like analysis and sort of musings about this film, where in the film, it is a man who's a photographer who starts filming his life. And his house turns out to be bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And there was a film about that part, to be fair, with Kevin Bacon. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it is kind of a mindfuck. But the reason I'm having a hard time getting through it is because the conceit is that Zampano was writing about this sort of analysis about this movie and sort of musings and stuff. It is really dry for a lot of it. And in the footnotes, Johnny kind of tells stories about what's been happening in his life. And that stuff's like fascinating. And oh my God, I actually really love to read it. But I also have to slog through the very dry, like analytical stuff. And so I was having a bit of a hard time kind of getting through it.
It says, House of Leaves is not an easy read in bold letters. It took me a full 2 weeks to finish reading. Not only are there footnotes and footnotes that have footnotes, but the way the words are typed on the page requires effort to read. You'll have to turn the book upside down and sideways.
Not yet. Girl. I haven't gotten to that. I haven't gotten to that part yet. That's the thing. And that's why it's been a bit of a slog before that. I think that part's fascinating. I'm very excited to get to that part. I realize, though, I'm like, is this Infinite Jest, essentially, which I have refused to read because I think it's pretentious. And I've just done this to myself.
Sounds like a horror activity book, like for adults.
I don't know. Yeah.
So this book pretty much couldn't be an audiobook.
Yeah, no. It exists as an audiobook, but it basically shouldn't. It also has this thing where every time the word house is written, it's in blue instead of black. It's been a mindfuck, right? But like mostly I can't get through it because of the dry parts that I'm just like, I don't want to read this at all. And in fact, there's a reference to it where Johnny Truant is like, I wouldn't blame you if you had not read through some of that because it is so like I don't know, overwrought and whatever. Because it was Zampano's writing. He's speaking about Zampano's writing being, you know, basically dry and kind of a slog, like I was saying. So I was like, I'm going to put this aside for the moment and read something kind of a little bit quicker and a little bit more like light. So I've been reading the second book in the Dangerous Damsels series, which is called The League of Gentlewomen Witches. It is by India Holton. I had read the first book. I think I mentioned it before in another one called The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. And it takes place in the same universe. And you actually see the characters from the first book, the main characters. So they show up. But I don't know, it's been fun so far. It is, in this case, about witches who look down on pirates. The last one was about pirates, but the pirates look down on witches, and they basically have this rivalry kind of thing.
Please tell me a witch makes out with a pirate. Please.
That has just happened recently in the book.
Fuck yes, I knew it.
So yeah, one of the pirates that was a side character in the last book is now one of the main characters, is like the love interest, and his name is Alex, and he is a pirate. He's like a scoundrelly pirate who looks dirty and, like manly and whatever.
Stinks so bad.
There is sort of an implication a couple times that he might be stinky.
Smells like shit.
I mean, pirates.
So sexy.
Yes, but like there were pirates in the previous one who were a lot more like, I don't know, prim and clean and yeah.
Fastidious.
Yeah, but he is friends with the love interest from, well, both characters now, but the love interest from the previous book. And yeah, like the pirates fly around in houses instead of ships. They fly in the air, and the witches say that's gauche to use your magic to do that. But they technically all hail from the same witch lady, or like sorceress, or whatever you want to call her, called Beryl Black. And currently there's a museum that has Beryl Black's amulet that is supposed to hold like all her power. So everybody's trying to steal it basically. And so it's an adventure and a love story. So, I mean, I've liked it so far. I haven't finished it, but it is not dissimilar from the first one. At first it was too similar, but it has kind of veered off now. So I do feel better about that. So those are the things I've been reading. Then, I don't know, I've been catching up on Dungeon Meshi and X-Men 97 mostly. I think I haven't seen the most recent X-Men though, unfortunately.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I said, like I do think it is a little, because of the time period in which the old X-Men, the X-Men 93, you could call it, took place. It was a lot of that advertising toys to children sort of era, where things are a little more mindless. And it definitely has a little bit more mind and a little bit more heart. Like, not to shit on the other one, it was something I loved for a very long time. But I do think this is slightly more grown up a little bit. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. What about you guys?
Amanda?
Oh, you want me to go before you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have been given clearance prior to recording to pretty much talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about.
As long as you're watching it now, or reading, or listening.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about a, let's say, 10-year-old podcast that is pretty popular, but that for some weird fucking reason, nobody ever talks about this podcast. It is called Hello from the Magic Tavern, and everyone and their dogs knows this podcast. Why won't y'all talk about it? What's wrong with you people? This is an improvised podcast that also, it stars one of the improvisers from another podcast that I have mentioned before, Improvised Star Trek, Matt Young. He was Captain Baxter on the USS Sisyphus, and he plays Usador in Hello from the Magic Tavern.
Good old Usador.
I have been listening to this for only probably, like I said, this has been going on for hell and ever. I've only been listening to it maybe for about the past 2.5 years. I'm finally caught up with it. It's extremely funny.
I will put my 2 cents in that it is a fantastic podcast. I am not caught up, but I love it.
You guys will be onto it. I am anywhere near the end. But yeah, it's very funny, very good. And it's kind of surprising that it's all improv.
I thought it was scripted. For the first few episodes, I thought it was scripted. I think eventually I saw some, like, I don't know, Tumblr poster. I saw something that indicated to me that it was improv. And then I was like, okay, like, I get it. Like, that, not only does that make more sense, but it actually makes it better.
I mean, there's probably like plot points that they're like, we need to get to this plot point, but mostly, yeah, it's not. There are times you can really tell it's improvised.
Yeah.
But, and that's fine. It's still funny.
I'm not even sure. Like they will literally have guests on that they're like, say whatever the fuck you want.
Yep.
We will save you.
Just as this character.
Yeah, like you cannot, there is nothing you can say that will break our mythos. Like,
yes, and.
Right.
Yeah.
They can pretty much recover from anything. And here's the hilarious thing too, is that even though they're improvising and they want you to be pretty immersed into this world that they've created, you will definitely several times an episode hear somebody laughing at their own joke or like going like doing that snort laugh at somebody else. Like,
mostly it's Arnie.
yes, he is the worst culprit of that snort laugh, and I love it every time he does it. He's been like he's either been more free with it lately, or they've quit editing it out so much. But literally, like every other word somebody says, he'll just be like, and I love it. It makes it so much more funny. But yeah, like I said, it's a 7,000-year-old podcast that for some weird reason, nobody, like, I can't find hardly any fan art for this. I can't find any, like, blogs that are dedicated to it. It just, people know it exists and people like it and it's well received, but man, it deserves more. So yeah. And also, I'm a huge fan of Matt Young from his work as Captain Baxter on Improvised Star Trek.
Yeah.
Drew.
So I guess it's my turn. I have been enjoying lately. I'm going to take a bit of a break, switch it up from my anime. I've been enjoying a podcast as well. I've been enjoying Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. It's
Billy loves that.
Yeah. It's a podcast with Conan O'Brien, who I have loved since I was 10 or 11. I used to stay up to watch this show. And the premise is he's talking to different celebrities, trying to see if they could be actual friends, not just friends, on the show. Yeah, great. That's good. But if they can be actual friends. A lot of people are like, sure, great, and everything. And other people are like tentative. That could just be an act. I mean, usually probably an act, but they're like, I'm tentative. The last one I listened to was Wanda Sykes. As always, Wanda's very funny with her everything.
Fuck yeah.
She's wonderful. I have also loved Conan O'Brien for a long time. Did you ever see that movie Sugar and Spice?
No.
Okay, so one of the girls in that is obsessed with Conan O'Brien, and I was like, that's me in high school.
Did you know he started out as a writer for The Simpsons?
Yeah, and wasn't he for SNL as well?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong about that. He was SNL? Okay.
He was a writer for SNL as well for a little bit.
Yeah, but I do find he's getting more curmudgeonly in his old age.
Yeah, which is also
Have you noticed that?
a big thing mentioned on the show.
Yeah, but
part of the reason he has problems finding real friends.
He's an old grump.
Yeah, he's turned into an old fuck. I understand, Conan. It's fine. I'll be your friend.
I think my favorite episode so far was when he talked to Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Yeah.
I love them. They're so funny.
Their whole dynamic and everything. And Nick Offerman staying kind of like in character during this interview. I found that very funny. And he and Megan's whole open sexuality thing was entertaining. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about that show that I enjoy. And I'm going to be listening to it for a while until I get to the end, at least. So I'm caught up.
One more time for my benefit. Will you say the name again?
Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Cool. Hey, if we're talking podcasts, I'm like, hit me up because not anymore, but I probably spend a lot more time in my car than the average person. So yeah, podcasts are like my heroin. Give it to me.
Yeah, my podcast feed is quite full. Oh, I also started listening to Distractable, Markiplier's podcast he does with his friends Bob and Wade.
So I have zero exposure to Markiplier other than the goofball, hateful things that people say about him on Tumblr. So I have spent a great portion of my life going, does this guy suck shit? Or like, what's going on? Or is he just being made fun of for no reason?
He's made fun of a lot for his voice.
But I'll also say, like most people, it's a mixed bag, right? Like most people in life, everything's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Hang on. Is he like JonTron a mixed bag?
Oh, God, no. Oh, my God, no.
Okay. Now I know.
No.
All right.
I would not call that a mixed bag.
Because I did like JonTron until the things that were said. Anyhow, we're not going to go into that.
I had a period of time where I watched Markiplier a lot. I don't do so much anymore. I don't watch a lot of Let's Plays at all anymore.
So what's up with his voice? What the hell's wrong with his voice?
Oh, he has a deep and
Really
very
deep.
like announcery voice. Like his regular voice is like very announcer-like.
Oh, like Cecil from Welcome to Night Vale?
Yeah.
Huh, okay. I wouldn't have expected that.
I mean, a little less
why
so, but Yeah.
Why do people on Tumblr say that he got beaten up by gangs in LA? Like LA street gangs?
I know that one.
Okay,
I don't know either. That's really funny, though. I will say part of the reason I kind of stopped a little bit with this content was there was a period of time where people were like, PewDiePie, stop being such a fucking racist. And Markiplier was like, why is the internet so mean to us? And I was like, Markiplier, there's context there, dude.
Yeah, I think that's why Tumblr was like, because, you know.
Yeah. I think that he is the kind of person who avoids controversy to the point of like not standing up for anything. I hate to say things like that about people, but that just is sometimes the case.
Sometimes it is necessary. Protect your brand.
Sorry, Drew. I hope we're not shitting on someone you love.
It's not anything to be made fun of, but he's also in the hospital like every couple months, like for broken something.
It's different things. Yeah, I was going to say it's not all the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like he has a disease and he's constantly going back to get treated.
Yeah.
Different stuff keeps happening to him.
Is this why they keep saying he's beaten up by LA street gangs?
Maybe.
Okay, don't laugh. Don't laugh. That's not funny.
I'm going to say, though, that might be the joke that he's on the hospital all the time. They might have gone, he's in the hospital all the time because he keeps getting beat up. Yeah. And, you know, it probably snowballed into something else, as memes are wont to do.
Maybe someone said it as a joke and then people took it seriously and started spreading it as fact.
Yeah. Or spreading it as a joke still because they thought that it was funny and then it changed a little bit and that somebody else thought that was funny, you know.
Like the Down with Cis bus?
Yes. Or the fucking horse plinko.
Horse plinko!
Or the floorball, was it? Or we talked about this another time.
Floorbos from my shows. Okay,
yeah,
so
floorbos from my shows.
It's a surprise nostalgia. Fucking Tumblr.
All of Tumblr?
Tumblr, I see you, boo. You're beautiful, baby. I'll be right there in a few minutes. We're almost done recording.
Tumblr, thanks for all the love on my last art piece. Please give some more to my current one
give
that
more.
I put out.
It's not enough.
Also, don't do that thing where you give a ton of love to a work in progress, and then when I finally post the finished, it's like crickets. I would love if that happened. That happens to me constantly.
Tumblr. I don't know you very well, but I hear good things. So I think that's it for Newstalgia. Join us next time.
I'm going to
See you around.
Thanks for coming.
tomorrow. I will see you there. Bye.